The Toronto Maple Leafs have done it again. They have waived a bottom six caliber player and had gotten them claimed. So, the Washington Capitals, they are the first ones on the chopping block to get things done for 2022-2023. Welcome to Toronto. Goodbye, Toronto. It's Nicolas Aube-Kubel heading over to the Washington Capitals off of waivers. Now, yesterday, we did have ourselves the news that Aube-Kubel was placed on the waivers in the first place, and a lot of people in Toronto were saying, okay, I mean, the guy was a free agent pickup on day one of free agency. You know the Maple Leafs valued this type of guy. 22 points, 67 games played with the Colorado Avalanche last season, 0 points in 14 games in the playoffs, but he won the Stanley Cup, so who cares? He also dented the Stanley Cup too, which I don't know how much that counts for anything, but he did have his name on the prize, and the Toronto Maple Leafs ended up getting this guy a contract. He was signed day one, they played him 6 games, he had 0 points, but at the same time, it's not necessarily like Aube-Kubel was a bad player per se. He is, at the end of the day, a 26-year-old guy, 5'11", 187, signed to a $1 million AAV deal for 1 year, and he was pretty much supposed to just be an energy caliber guy. Bottom six player that can play minutes, just eat up time, not necessarily score, but also kind of keep the puck out of your own end with some vicious, lethal play when it comes to his intensity. Aube-Kubel was more of an energy guy. And the Maple Leafs ended up sending him down on waivers because, hey, they've got too many bodies, and freeing up a roster spot in any capacity is something that you could see value within. So, waivers was the process, Washington has the claim, and it makes sense more so than anything that Washington in particular is the team that's getting Kubel because, or not Kubel, no, Aube-Kubel, you have to say both of them in the same phrasing, that's how it's said, but Washington has so many players on the IR right now that just having anybody from any organization picked up for free that can slot in, play some minutes, that in and of itself is valuable to them. So he's going to be a guy sent over there, hopefully playing a little bit more minutes than he was in Toronto. Maybe he actually gets a good point production pace of 22 points in 67 games played yet again. I mean, if you do the point pace of this, let's do 22 divided by 67, multiplied out by 82. Aube-Kubel last season was on pace for 27 points, and for $1 million a season, a guy who's able to get that sort of production isn't bad. Now, I know Colorado is not Washington. The Capitals are a lot worse than the Avalanche are, and when it comes to the bodies on the Capitals, you could say that the playoffs might not even be a possibility this year for this team when it comes to how well they're able to perform and the guys that they're missing out on, but that's why you get waiver claims like this in the first place. You've got like $30 million of players on the IR, so why not go out there and take a guy on for free, help out the Maple Leafs in the process because they need to free up some roster space, and we'll see where exactly Aube-Kubel goes as his career continues with Washington. So, talk in the comments on your thoughts about Nicolas Aube-Kubel heading over to the Washington Capitals. If you're a Maple Leafs fan, what are your thoughts on this player leaving your organization? You really wanted this guy, you picked him up on the first day of free agency, you wanted to really get this guy clamped down into your organization, but no, that is no longer the case. Were you disappointed in how he played in Toronto? I wouldn't say he was necessarily bad. I mean, of course 0 points in 6 games is not ideal, but at the same time, Nicolas Aube-Kubel wasn't really a guy that you needed to expect any significant production from, if you know what I mean. So, I've always kind of believed in this guy. I thought it was a pretty good, serviceable bottom six player for what he was, at the very least. I mean, he won a Stanley Cup, and he dented the thing, so there is probably a little bit more star power and memorable qualities to his profile when it comes to that, rather than his on-ice play, but still, he is an NHL player, and the Maple Leafs just gave him up for free. Talk in the comments on your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.